Hi, welcome back to Math with Temperature. Yesterday we discussed what a thermometer is and does, and what the F means at the bottom. Do you remember what the F stands for? Fahrenheit, right. And Fahrenheit is what we usually use to take the temperature of either if we find out if we have a fever or what the temperature is outside, and kind of base that is that hot, cold, warm, freezing, things like that. For temperature in Fahrenheit, water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit and boils. But in Celsius, what we're going to talk about today, Celsius is water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and boils at 100 degrees Celsius, which is really hot. That's like 212 degrees Fahrenheit or something. So I'm going to put my thermometer down so we can look at it a little bit better. Here we go. So when we have our thermometer, remember, we always need to remember the scale. Remember those little lines in between? This is the same thermometer I had yesterday, except I'm going to use the Celsius side, the side that people around the world use and scientists use today. So my scale is still the same. I'm still counting by, for Celsius on this side, they're counting by tens, whereas Fahrenheit was by 20s. So make sure you double check your scale, even though I'm using the same thermometer. So if I'm counting by tens, that means that each thick line that's not labeled is for 5. So I have 50 or minus 0, 50 degrees below 0, 45 degrees below 0, 40 degrees below 0, 10 degrees above 0, 15 degrees above 0, 20 degrees above 0, and so forth. When we're talking, you don't use Celsius a lot, but it's good to be aware. So I have a friend that lives in Japan right now, and when she sends me messages, sometimes she tells me that it's like 10 degrees Celsius. 10 degrees, we think that's really cold. But over there, 10 degrees Celsius is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's actually kind of nice when she says it's only 10 degrees out, because they measure things in Celsius. So let's go to page, let's see here, 376. 376. It's set up pretty much the same as the Fahrenheit page we did yesterday, except we're going to be in Celsius. So if we know that 0 degrees Celsius is where water freezes, 10 degrees Celsius is a day for a jacket, warm 20 degrees Celsius is room temperature, which is just around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, hot 40 degrees Celsius, a very hot day, which would be above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and finally 100 degrees Celsius is where water boils, which is over 210 degrees. So let's practice what we know about Celsius with pictures for numbers 8, 9, and 10. It shows kind of a windy day. They have coats on. So do you think it's 50 degrees Celsius, which would be here, which is above 40, that we know is a very hot day? Or do you think it's 11 degrees Celsius, which is closer to that cool temperature? Remember, we're talking about Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So for number 8, we would say that it's 11 degrees Celsius because it's cold and windy, like that. Remember that you need that little degree symbol after your number. It's not just 11C, it's 11 degrees Celsius. Try not to make your degree symbol super big, otherwise it looks like it's 110 degrees Celsius, which is a much different thing. All right, for number 9, is it 30 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Celsius? 30 degrees Celsius would be in between that warm and very hot, similar to like, so 30 degrees Celsius would be about 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Can you go swimming when it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit? Yes. So we're going to put number 9 as 30 degrees Celsius. And finally, number 10. We have two people walking with jeans and a t-shirt. Looks like a nice day. Is that going to be 22 degrees Celsius or 0 degrees Celsius? So let's check over here. 0 degrees Celsius means it's cold. That's where water freezes. So they probably want a jacket on. So it's probably not 0 degrees. So it must be 22 degrees Celsius. Alrighty, nice. Moving on. Number 11. We're going to do a little bit more practice together today just because we don't use Celsius a whole lot. So for number 11, we want to write the temperature using degrees Celsius, then write hot, warm, cool, or cold to describe the temperature. So remember, we're using Celsius. That's on the right-hand side of this thermometer. And it looks like it's right at that 10 line. So for number 11, we're going to say that it is 10 degrees Celsius. And over here, it tells me that 10 degrees Celsius is cool. So we're going to write cool. Number 12, remember we're in Celsius. I'm going to go with my red bar all the way up to where it touches. And this one isn't in between the two lines. It's right at 100. So that would be 100 degrees Celsius. And I remember that 100 degrees Celsius is where water boils. So that means it's very, very hot. Very hot. And number 13. Let's see here. Oh, I don't want that. Here we go. Number 13, I'm using Celsius. It's close to 20, but let's see if I can get the exact temperature. So on this thermometer, remember that we count by tens in between. So then halfway would be 15. Between 10 and 20 is 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So number 13 would be 22 degrees Celsius. 22 degrees would be just right by room temperature, so I'm going to say that it is warm. And number 14 is similar to the one we did yesterday. So the thermometer shows the temperature at 8 a.m. The temperature is 14 degrees higher at 2 p.m. What is the temperature in degrees Celsius at 2 p.m.? So before I can know what it is at 2 p.m., I need to figure out what it is at 8 a.m. So this thermometer here shows me the temperature at 8 a.m. So at 8 a.m., it's, and I want in Celsius. So I'll go up to my red line. I'm on the right-hand side for Celsius. I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees Celsius. So it starts at 5 degrees Celsius. But at 2 p.m., it's 14 degrees higher. So higher in temperature means it's warmer. So if it's higher, am I going to add or subtract 14 to 5? I'm going to add 14 degrees Celsius to 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. 1 plus nothing is 1. So it's a 19 degrees Celsius at 2 p.m. Make sure you got that written down. And do you remember what temperature does water freeze on at Fahrenheit and Celsius scales? Water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 0 degrees Celsius. So that's what you're going to do in your book today. But for your homework, this is a mixed up review on homework page 5-12. Remember that you have a couple different packets for math. You have one that says for unit 6, which we're not going to use yet. You have another packet for reteach that looks like this, that has reteach and challenge problems. And you should have another one that had homework and remembering on it. That's where your homework from today is coming from, that homework and remembering packet. So make sure you look through all your math packets. We have worksheet 5-12, just the homework side for today, March 31st. Just do numbers 1 through 6. If you have a little extra time, go ahead and you can practice the backside with some subtraction and time and fraction practice. But I only need to see the homework side back. Make sure you're reading the directions, because sometimes it's asking for Fahrenheit, sometimes it's asking for Celsius. Please use the thermometer that they gave you and take a look at your pictures on the side. If they're asking about warm and cold and really cold, they give us the examples for Celsius. The other examples for Fahrenheit are in your book from yesterday, or if you just know, to use that too. So you're going to circle the better estimate of the temperature. So if people are playing volleyball outside, is it going to be 30 degrees Fahrenheit or 86 degrees Fahrenheit? 30 degrees is like winter time, snow can happen. 86 would be summer. Now for the snowman one, they have 0 degrees Celsius and 40 degrees Celsius. So what do you know that's special about Celsius for 0 and 40? Then you just circle one. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are just like the examples from your book, where you need to put the temperature and the description of if it's hot, warm, cool, or cold. The top one's for Fahrenheit. The bottom one is for Celsius. All right, I just need worksheet 5-12 homework. Should look like this, just the homework side, please. Returned for tomorrow.